Good morning, everyone. In software architecture, today we are going to learn about quality attribute modeling and analysis. What is this quality attribute? The software which we are going to bring or develop should be the quality product. So, how can you bring the quality? By modeling and also by doing the analysis. That is only we are going to learn today. Here we are going to learn about how can you enable this analysis. Second thing, how can you bring the checklist for different types of attributes and how can you experiment the analysis, different types of simulations, prototypes and different stages of life cycle. First, we are going to learn modeling architectures to enable quality attribute analysis. How can you bring this analysis? So, here we are saying we need to test this model. Whatever it is going to come as a quality product has to be tested more and more. So, time tested analytic models is going to be used to assist the analysis in a proper way. Second thing, by using this model, one can support that the quantitative analysis. Okay, so modeling architectures, how it is going to bring the attribute analysis. So we need to test it on time tested analytic models. Here we are going to check about the performance models. What is this performance models? See, when there is lot of requirements have been arrived in the software, that is only arrivals. Lot of requirements are going to be arrived. All these requirements are going to be in a queue. Okay. Then by using some scheduling algorithms, it is going to be ordered which requirement has to go first, which should be the next. Okay, that is only done through this scheduling algorithm, which all requirements have been scheduled. Then it has to be arranged according to the particular model. It is going to be sent as a messages, routine messages. Then it is going to produce the results. Did you understand what is performance model? Yes, performance model is nothing but there will be lot of requirements. According to the requirements of the software, it has to be scheduled. Then it has to be sent. According to that, the result has to be produced. That is only here. What are all the parameters will be? Arrival of events will be the parameter and everything should be going to be in a queue. That is another parameter, and we have to choose a particular scheduling algorithm. That is the next parameter, and how it is going to serve the time. That is the next parameter, and which kind of network topology we are going to use it, and what is the bandwidth, and what are all the routing algorithms to that particular place. All these things are considered as a parameters. Next, allocation model for MVC. What is MVC? Model View Controller. What is this allocation model? For each and every view, for each and every component, here you can see view controller model. Okay, that is called model controller view. That is only MVC. So, how it is going to be applied? See, here in the user's machine, it will be the view of the requirements. Okay, so in this machine, through this, it has to send through the internet through the app server. App server is nothing but application server, which is going to have all the requirements. Then it has to be controlled. After controlling it, it has to be developed inside the company. That is why it is called as intranet. Then the database has to choose and it has to develop a model. So all these things are deployment models. So this is called as allocation model for MVC. MVC is nothing but model view controller. Clear? Next, queuing model for MVC. So in the previous this performance model, we have seen that all the requirements will be in the queue, right? So how this queuing model will be there for the model view controller? Okay, so there are three components: model, view, controller. How the requirements are going to be sent through this model, how it is going to develop it. So the user will be generating the request. All these requests will be viewed first. Okay, in a form of queue, it will be viewed. Once it has been viewed, according to the action, it has to send to the controller. The controller, what it will do, it has to check which are all the things are needed. Based on those selections, it has to go to the model. Then the model will be doing what kind of software has to be developed. Okay, so there will be lot of controllers. It will be in the form of queue, then it will be developed as a model. Clear? So that is only here in the 1 2 3 4 5. 1 will be the arrivals, 2 will be the send request to the controller, 3 will be the action return to view. Okay, once it has been viewed, then it has to be returned to the view if it is not done in a proper manner. And the actions return to the model. In case if there is any problem or something, it has to return to the model. Then model sends actions to the view. This is called as queuing model for MVC. Next, we studied various parameters for MVC, right? Where we studied, here we studied the various parameters, right? So this is the parameter in the first picture itself, this one. Okay, so we studied various parameters, how these parameters are going to be used and how it is going to be estimated. That is only we are going to study here. So first one is the frequency of arrivals. That is only we have studied arrivals. Next is the discipline, and the next is the time to process, and we have to see the bandwidth of the network, and particular queuing discipline has to be followed for the controller. So all these things will be for the what? First three things will be for the view, and next for the sending the messages to the controller and connects to the view and controller, and queuing discipline and message within the controller, right? And then the number and the size of the messages to the controller, and it has to send back to the view, and the bandwidth of the network controller to the from the network to the controller, what is the bandwidth and what is the number of size and messages, and then queuing discipline, and then time which it is taking to process the message, and then number and size of the messages and bandwidth of the network. All these things will be called as the parameters. Okay, so you could have get confused that why this parameter and that parameter. So this parameter is going to be based on model view controller. So in view it will be as a parameter, in controller this will be as a parameter. Like that each one will be considered as a parameter. Next one is the cost or benefit of performance modeling. So everything is going to be modeled. So what is the cost and the benefit? Cost or benefit. If you take cost, it can be determined based on the parameters which are mentioned. Okay. And benefit means it is going to estimate the latency. That means the time which it is going to take. Okay. That will be calculated. So the more accurately the parameters are estimated, the better the prediction of latency. So required parameters are predicted clearly means the latency can also be predicted clearly. So latency is an important one. Okay. So and also this is not worthwhile. When it is not worthwhile, when there is no sufficient capacity to satisfy the demand. Clear? Okay. So next one is the availability modeling. What is this availability modeling? So this is another quality attribute which is telling about analytic framework. Modeling architecture for availability. That means what it is going to do, it is going to determine the system based on that architecture. and it is going to determine the failure rates. So this is only modeling architecture for availability. The same way, the performance of the model architecture, we need the architecture to analyze. Suppose we want to increase the availability of the system, it has to be broken again, the model has to be divided, the same tactics has to be applied again and again, that is called as redundancy tactics. Next, in this availability modeling, three different tactics are used to increase the availability of the broker. What is this broker? The one with the model which is going to used as a used as an analysis model. So there are three different types of brokers: active redundancy, passive redundancy. Okay, active redundancy, passive redundancy, spare. Active redundancy is telling about hot spare, passive redundancy is telling about warm spare is telling about the cold spare. So here you could see this process is going to be represented in the triangle, and this arrow mark is going to represent the direction. So in the active redundancy, Hotspur is telling about client and server models. Between client and server model, synchronization has to be maintained. That is called state synchronization. Here you could see making broker more available. How it is going to be available. Next, you could see this active, this passive redundancy, how it is going to used in the broker. Okay, broker is nothing but between the models. Okay, so client and server will send the informations. Here it has to checkpoint. Okay, predict periodic data. See, if the user is giving username, immediately the password has to be sent. Otherwise, it cannot verify it. So that is called as passive redundancy. Automatically, it has to come. Next, broker. Broker means client server proxy traffic, which is going to use here the cold sparing means it is going to use as a spare. Whenever it is necessary, it will make us active and it will be used. So these are all the making broker more available. So brokers will be there according to the active redundancy, passive redundancy and sparing. It can be analyzed and used. How can you apply the probabilities to the tactics? You know what is a probability, right? When there is a two events like A and B, which is independent. Independent means it is not depending on the other one. The probability can be identified by sum of the probability of each event. That is, P of A or B is equal to P of A plus B of B. P of B. At the same time, if they are when they are probability of each event will be identified by like this, either P of A or P of B is the sum of both the events. If it is occurring on a same time, means both has to be multiplied, P of A dot P of B, and they are dependent, the probability of both occurring is P of A dot modulation of P of A or P of B. So this is the probability which is occurring on both times and also dependent. What is passive redundancy? See, for example, there is a failure of component. How can you get it into the counterpart and assume the failure probability? First one is the primary or backup. That means the failure component has to be identified, and we have to identify the failure probability. Then if it fails, it will be calculated by 1 minus P of F squared, and it can also estimate the probability of failure by using different types of tactics also that we studied in the previous. So the cost of implementing appropriate tactic, we can do either cost or benefit analysis. Okay, so how can you calculate the availability of the enhanced broker? Okay, if it is going to be a new model, how it is going to be? So here this MTTR is representing the mean time to repair. MMTR is representing mean time between failure, and mean time to repair. This is MTBF, which is representing the mean time between failure, and MTTR, which is representing the MMTR, which is representing mean time to repair. Okay. Okay, here what kind of broker it may be, whether it is a hardware or software or the availability. Okay, if it is going to be on both 1 and 2, it will be the hours which is going to take, and how many active redundancy are there, how many passive redundancy are there, and what is the whole square. So this is known as the availability. So here it is going to calculate the availability by using the formula which we studied here. We studied a formula, right? So by using this formula, we are applying and we are getting the availability. Okay. Next one is the maturity of quality attribute models. What is this maturity? Maturity is telling about for a particular model, it could have been with lot of mistakes, right? So that is only quality attribute, intellectual basis, maturity or gaps. So first availability, intellectual basis means either it can use Markov models or statistical models. By using this, how it can be matured means how it can be used. So whether it is a matured model or moderate model, whether it can be used or not. So moderate the maturity in the hardware reliability domain, less mature in the software domain, requirements models that speaks the state recovery of for which the failure percentages can be attributed to the software. So which is telling about the maturity, how it is going to be used for this particular model. Next, conceptual framework, it will be with the low maturity like that. Coupling and cohesion metrics, modifiability, we will be using this coupling and cohesion metrics cost models. So it will be substantial research in academia. Still, it requires more empirical support in real world environments like that. For each and every quality attribute, so these are all the quality attributes: viability, interoperability, modifiability, performance, security, testability, usability. All these things we studied in a separate chapters, we studied in a particular topic in the previous classes. So all these models, how the intellectual has to be applied, how it is going to be matured models. Okay, so this is called as maturity of quality attribute models. Next, quality attribute checklist. Checklist already we have studied for each and everything. So what it is going to provide, it is going to check the requirements, whether all the requirements capture all the nuisance of the particular quality attribute, whether it has been required, whether all the things have been captured. Auditing, does the design satisfy all the aspects of the necessary of the certification process? Okay. Next, securities checklist are common. Previously, we studied the quality attributes checklist. Here, we are studying the security checklist. What is this security checklist? First one, the vendors are going to use it, right? So, it has to, vendors has to check whether it accept credit cards, whether it has to conform with the personal credit information standard. Next, it has to verify electricity producers, which is providing the security list, which prevent the critical infrastructure. Okay, whether this product can be used on a particular thing or something, everything has to be verified. So, the checklist will have both the details of product requirements and the project process requirements. Product requirement means the credit card informations. Process informations means it is going to tell about the organizational responsibility. Next, thought experiments. This thought experiment is telling about whether it is going to work through mentally or verbally on a particular scenario. Commonly, it will be done by the architect and by using various alternatives, and the analysis and the documentation evaluation can be done by the third parties. Clear? Next, thought experiment steps. First, it has to enumerate all the steps, and it has to, in each step, it has to ask yourself or the architecture what kind of mechanism are used and how it is achieved, and does the mechanism is having any quality attribute requirements, and all these things has to be recorded. That is only record problems. Next, back of the envelope analysis. So this analysis does not need to be precise, okay, or detailed. Rough analysis serves for many purposes. and deeper analysis for questionable areas. So, back to the end development analysis, envelope analysis is telling about how the analysis is going to be done. So, it has to be precise, and first rough analysis, which is going to be used for thoroughly, it is going to be checked. Next, the deeper analysis. So, rough analysis, for example, the volume of traffic generated by this source should be well within the bounds of handled by the modern infrastructure. Next, experiments, simulations, and prototypes. Many tools are used to perform the experiments and determine the behavior of a design. So, the request generators can create a synthetic loads to test the scalability. And monitors can perform non-intrusive resource usage detection. These depend on having partial or a prototype implementation. So, prototype alternatives should have the important decisions. If possible, it has to implement it in a fashion, and fault injection tools will reduce the faults. Simulation. Simulation means it is a working model of the system. So it is based on that behavior of the various system loads can be identified. It can create the simulation and it can have variety of different loads according to the responses. And next one is the analysis during requirements and design. So during the requirements, there will be various kinds of analysis are done. Okay, first one is the analytic model of the envelope analysis checklist, which can capture all the correction set of requirements. Design. This prototypes can help explore the design options. Analytic models for simulation can help understanding the potential bottlenecks. Checklist can help determine if it is used in the correct mechanism. So during implementation and fielding, before we studied requirements and design, now we are going to learn implementation and fielding. So synthetic load test can be used to check the implementation process, and actual behavior of the system can be identified through this implementation. Here we are going to learn about during the requirements, during the architecture and during the implementation or fielding, how the form of analysis will be, what will be the cost of it, whether it is going to be a confidence level or in a low level, that is going to be analyzed in different stages of the life cycle. So these are all the things we studied today. That means analysis is a cost or a benefit activity. Cost is means measuring the analysis models or tools. It depends on accuracy of analysis. It is going to give importance what is being analyzed. And it can be done through models, measurements, thought experiments, simulations, prototypes. With this, we are finishing our class today. In the next video, we will see the remaining.